folks, Ariel over here at Nyth, where today we are going to harvest some garlic. Now, garlic is most typically, especially in colder climates, planted in the fall. I did a video of planting this late last October, I believe, and this is the beginning of August. So it's been in the ground 10 months. It's pretty much dormant all winter, which garlic likes. It likes the cold, and it was coming up as bright little green sprouts through the snow before the snow was even melted. Now, I actually have 6 varieties of garlic here, and 2 of them I have already harvested because they got ready a little earlier. And these probably could have been picked when they were all more about this stage of green still. These are a little too far gone. I just didn't get to it. What you're looking for is about the bottom half or third of the leaves to have turned brown. So, like on this stalk, I've got one very curly brown leaf at the bottom, then 3 that are kind of yellow, and 3 that are green but turning yellow. So that's not too bad. Some of these are almost all going yellow, so they could have been harvested earlier. Each one of these leaves goes down to be one of those papery kind of coatings around the garlic bulb, and we don't want them all to dry out, or they won't be protecting our garlic cloves anymore. Now, I have 6 different varieties grown here, and half of them are called hardneck garlic, half of them are softneck, and the softnecks seem to get ready first generally for me. The hardnecks, I don't know if you can see, they've got this thick center stem that actually makes a flower. Looks much like an allium or a chive or an onion. They're all in the same family flower, but when it was still just a curly scape, I snipped them all off and ate them. I think of them as kind of my early garlic, and while I could let them bloom and you would get garlic seeds, I prefer to replant garlic cloves, and the flowers are edible, and so I think of them as my early garlic. So there's no flowers left in any of these, but only the hardnecks make the flowers. The softneck kinds do not make a flower scape at all. So anyway, I'm gonna harvest all of the rest of this today. Now, I've read a lot of things that say you shouldn't pull up on the stem to pull the garlic out because you can damage the bulb underneath. My soil in my beds is pretty soft. I have not actually found that to be a problem. But when we pull it up there, look at how much roots there are compared to the actual bulb. And we've probably already broke some of those off underground. Work some of the dirt out there. So you can see what that looks like, freshly pulled out of the ground. I'm going to pull up all the rest and we'll show you what we do with them. As you can see, that soil is so soft that pulling them out like that is no problem at all in these beds. If you have really firm soil, you may want to dig around there, often with your fingers, because if you use any kind of tool, you can actually cut into and damage your garlic bulbs. So this one is probably more about the stage they should have been picked. That one just broke off. There was 1 little leaf, 2 little leaves that were brown. That one's mostly dead. These 2 are going yellow. Then it has 3 more on the top that are still pretty green. And again, there's the hard neck where the flower was cut off. But there's a whole lot of roots on there. These are really, really healthy looking. Some are a little bigger than others. But that is what the garlic looks like when it first comes out of the ground. Now we're going to have to cure these, and I'll show you what I do for that. First thing I'm going to do is just kind of gently shake out all the dirt off of those roots and just back into my bed here. Now that was a hardneck garlic. The next kind I'm going to pull here are softneck, and we'll see how they look slightly different. Okay, so here again, you can tell right away the whole neck is floppy. It doesn't have that big stiff hard part in the middle. Again, we've got 1, 2, 3, this one's got 4 really dried up leaves, 2 kind of yellow ones, and 5 green ones still. So that's about perfect. And again, there's a good bit of roots there with the soil in them. And we're going to cure these very much the same way. As far as which kind you grow, it's kind of a matter of personal preference. I enjoy both. The hardnecks tend to have a smaller overall head under there, but the individual cloves are larger, which I really like just for the time it takes to peel them. This one's not a particularly great example. The softnecks tend to get a bigger overall head with more little cloves, so they take longer to peel. So I grow some of both, and I enjoy the flavors of both. It's kind of a matter of personal preference again, and the hardneck ones are good if you want to be able to eat your garlic scape flowers. They are wonderful. You may get really small heads, I think, if you live somewhere very warm. Garlic doesn't love being very warm. I get fairly decent ones here. It would probably be happy being a little bit warmer than me, but if you have a very warm climate, you may get much smaller heads overall than I do. Now here I can show you this one was crowded beside a neighbor. Not sure it was even meant to be planted there, but here I thought all my scapes were gone. This is what a scape looks like. So this is just a little baby one. Almost looks like a green leaf, but see how there's that curly bit, and some of them get really curly-cuey, and that part right from my fingers out, that would open into being a flower blossom. But right now you could just pick it or cut it like right there and use them in anything you would put garlic in. Okay, now that I've got my garlic all pulled out of the ground here and most of the dirt shaken off, some people leave the roots on. I find that's just more messy to leave them all on. So I'm just taking a scissors here and giving them a little bit of a haircut. And the roots can go right back into the soil here in the ground. They'll just break down and add the nutrients back to the soil. So I'm just giving them a little bit of a trim up like that before I'm going to hang them to dry. That's apparently kind of up to you. It seems like some other people do and some people don't. I am not going to wash these at all. We don't want to get them wet. That's actually partly why I'm harvesting them right now, because I need to water the rest of the garden and I want to pull them out while the ground was a little bit dry, because we want them to stay dry as they cure. Now, I will replant some of these to be my garlic for next year. That is what I have normally done, but if you've been following me for a while, you probably know that thanks to the gopher problem, which seems to have been solved by the new concrete and hardware cloth beds, last year all of my garlic were eaten by the gophers. And yes, that is supposed to be something that rodents don't like, but mine didn't read that and they ate all of it. Anyway, so I had none of my own to plant, so I had to buy some last fall in order to be able to plant some. Now, can you plant garlic from a grocery store? Yes, but a lot of it, especially if it's not organic garlic or if you're not sure of the source, has been treated often with various things to keep it from sprouting, a little bit like potatoes, and just you don't know what all it was grown in and so on. So I highly recommend, if you're going to get, it's called seed garlic, though they're started just from a garlic clove normally. There is a way to start them from seeds, but that's like a 3-year process. So most people are not doing it that way. If you're going to get a seed garlic, I recommend getting it from a good company. These all came from a place called Filigree Farms. I'm not affiliated with them. They were just where I ordered from last fall when I needed some of my own replacements. I don't plan to be ordering from them this year, solely because it looks like I'm going to have some lovely garlic of my own that I can simply replant. But if I was needing to order again, I would absolutely order from them again. I've been very happy with both their customer service, with getting the garlic to me when I needed it in a little bit of a hurry because my ground was about to freeze, and I hadn't planned ahead very well, and just the quality of what it looked like when it showed up and how everything has grown over the last 10 months. So I would definitely order from them again. So if you need a place to go, that might be a place to check out. But what I'm going to do this year is go back to replanting my own. So as these cure, I will probably pick, I planted, that's barely on chipmunk patrol. I planted 6 varieties. I like to see what will do best in my area in particular, and that is very likely not necessarily the same variety that will do well in your area if you live anywhere other than right beside me, because my area is colder than most. What I'm actually observing here is, though I've always heard and read and been told that the softneck varieties make a bigger bulb, though the cloves are smaller, is that doesn't appear to have been true in my garden this year anyway. I actually have bigger bulbs on the hardnecks as well as larger cloves. So there's a very good chance I won't replant any of my softnecks. That will be fine to eat up, but I want to plant the ones that produce best for me. So I'll probably pick the biggest heads out of all 3 of my hardneck varieties and replant some of them a little more into fall here. But that's kind of how one can develop a little bit of a custom selected strain exactly for your area and your climate. If every year you can replant your own and plant the ones that do best and get biggest and seem happiest in your particular spot with its combination of weather and rain and sunshine and all of that. So that's the plan here. I'm going to just finish hair cutting these. And I did plant, I think I had like 220 bulbs, something like that, or cloves when I planted them. So I should have approximately that many heads here. I did not just count them, but that gives me enough that I can use at least 1 head of garlic every other day for an entire year, which is kind of my goal. I was hoping to produce enough garlic to be able to cover my garlic eating use for an entire year. And if you watch any of my cooking videos, you probably are aware that I use quite a bit of garlic when I am cooking. So I've got some more there to do, but what we're going to do now is just going to take these, and again, we're not washing them. You can knock off loose dirt. And we want to, these are a little different than harvesting onions, which I have not done yet, and they're not ready yet. But onions you want to cure and in the sunshine is fine. These we want to cure, but garlic apparently doesn't like so much the sunshine. It can actually kind of sunburn and damage the cloves now that they're out of the ground. So we are going to hang these in a non-sunny space. I'll show you where that's going to be for me. Okay, since what garlic wants when it's curing is somewhere out of the sun, direct sun, and it doesn't have to be hot. In fact, you can cook it if you have something too hot. So I don't hang this in like a hot attic like I might do with drying herbs or mint or something like that. Hi, beautiful. Yeah, we love you. We do. But it also needs air to be able to circulate and to not get wet. So for me, what I'm going to use is my little pallet wood bin. Now this side of me, you might be able to see, is still pretty full of firewood. I'd actually emptied it last year. That's stuff I've already started on for this next year, so I've got about a third of my firewood for the year collected. But what you might be able to see behind me here in the shadow is the 2 bunches that are the varieties that I had harvested earlier. Now, my preferred way to gather all these up is with a rubber band. Just because as the stems dry, they shrink, and if you just tie it with a string, then the stuff can start falling out as it gets skinnier and your string is no longer snug. And because these are so long, I'm actually just going to bend one of them over like that, so I've got a short stick, and I'm going to wrap this rubber band the whole way around the bunch. You could do smaller bunches. So I've got a clump like that, and then I just tied a piece of string crossways in my woodshed here, and those hardnecks are almost a little tall for there. Lets me just hang it right like that. So that's perfect. They can hang there, the air can circulate, they're out of the sun, they're out of the rain, and we're going to let these cure for probably about a month here. The time can vary a little depending on your temperatures and humidity and all of that. But you can already see the back ones here have most of the energy that was still in the leaves and stuff. The plant realizes now that it's dead, it's out of the ground, it doesn't have its roots anymore, and so in its effort to reproduce, because that's what plants are usually working on doing, it's going to suck all the energy back out of these leaves and stems and put it down here into the cloves so that they could grow and be a new plant next year. So that's what we want. That's why we're not going to cut off anything else on those stems. We're just going to let it hang there and dry together while this all cures. Then I'll have to go grab my other bunches and get them all collected up and hung in there. But that's all I do to harvest garlic. And I'm going to put out this video because it's going to be long enough, but hopefully in about a month I'll show you guys what I do when it's all nice and dried out and cured here to take it inside. I did just check my measurements because I'm sure I'll get asked this. I think that's about 230 cloves, so that's about, or heads I mean, 230 separate garlic plants total that I grew, and so that is about one every other day for an entire year. That grew in an area that was 3 foot by 9 foot. So that'd be 27 square feet of space. That's not very big. If I could just grow one single thing and nothing else, garlic would be really high on my list of things to grow for myself. It is relatively easy unless you live somewhere super hot. I think there may be some varieties that are more adapted to very hot areas, but garlic does like to have a nice cold spell where it freezes hard, and so there are ways to imitate that by putting it in a fridge or freezer if you don't have a cold area naturally, but you can look up stuff with people who actually do that. I've never done that, so I don't have any experience with it. But in an area, you know, less than the size of a single mattress, I was able to produce what should be enough garlic to last me through an entire year. And none of it's very complicated. So hopefully that answers questions about garlic harvesting. If you've got any more or something I forgot, please ask down below, and I will try to do my best to get back to everyone as soon as I get a chance. But that's probably my favorite of all of my garden crops. So there you go. You'll have to tell me below what's your favorite. I know it's not garlic for everyone, but that is probably my single favorite. Hi folks, Ariel over here. Thanks for spending some of your valuable time watching these videos. Hopefully you found something beautiful, educational, interesting, peaceful, relaxing, or useful while you were here. If so, find more videos here, subscribe so you don't miss any updates, and if you like what you found here, feel free to like and share away so that others can benefit as well. You all have a wonderful day.